Okay, so I recently got a bucket from a friend who had been breeding. He had 2 buckets layered. One like this with a screen bottom on top of this, which is like the silt. But the problem is all of those tiny mites, grain mites everywhere. Well, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too worried about it because here's the thing. If you take care of your mealworms properly and have the right environment for them, grain mites aren't going to be an issue. I can tell already because, number one, my other totes have not been getting infected. And number two, they were so potent in this and the one that was on top of it because there was way too much oatmeal. See, this is like the part, this is some from what it was on. So, see how full that is compared to that? So what I did was I grated as much of the bugs I could out and put them in this cornmeal, which is like extremely dry. Grain mites can't stand it. And I left it all outside in the blazing sun for a whole day. And that really took a chunk out of them. And now I'm just wiping them down with a Lysol and killing them, and they're gonna disappear. So what I do is I just take a Lysol rag and I wipe down the outsides and the insides of the totes. And I mean, there were so many grain mites on this. I should have taken a video of it before, but there were so many grain mites on this that there was just like a white moving coat. So, and these beetles were completely covered in mites. Like, they all just had mites growing all over them, crawling around their shells. And they look good now. I'm not seeing any mites. They're in a very, very thin layer of oatmeal, which is extremely dry. I haven't fed them any water at all, like a potato. And that was the problem. This, you can still see. See these potatoes? You don't want to put whole potatoes in there, and you definitely don't want them buried because that's going to take your moisture level up. And I watched a video that was talking about mealworms, and they're from the desert, so they don't really need moisture at all except for just a supplement. So I'm still taking care of this and cleaning it up, trying to get it to the point where we need it, moving out all of this. So, which there's probably bugs in there because look at that. See how that stuff's falling off? So I'm probably going to have some mealworms in the bottom of this bucket by the end of it. And I'll just transfer them. I'm not too worried about losing because there's so many that I'm just not worried about it. But I can still feel a little bit of moisture in this from where those potatoes were buried in it. But it's not enough to cause a problem, and it's going to continue drying out. I got my dehumidifier on down here. So you're not going to have a problem with grain mites at all. You don't have to throw away your whole culture. You don't have to disappear. Grain mites are extremely sensitive. They can't handle their habitat being changed. They can't handle low levels of moisture, and mealworms can. So there's no fucking problem. Don't be scared. Don't throw away your culture. Don't listen to people who say throw away your culture. You can rinse these bugs off even if you have such a... That's what I did. I rinsed a few of them off, but then I realized that it wasn't worth it because I could just move them into this and these grain mites are going to die. So that's what I'm doing, and I'll give an update. But don't kill your culture. Don't freak out. Just dry it out. You're probably overfeeding them. You're probably putting too many potatoes in there. You probably have way too much oats in the bottom of it. You just need like an inch in the bottom. And you just need one potato at a time. Those worms are going to take the water that they want. As long as you have a half of a potato in there or a carrot, you're not going to have a problem. So I had a huge infestation of grain mites, and it's dwindling by the day. So there you go.